In an age awash with conflicting voices, we begin with a single declaration. Only one testament on earth stands unwavering, the Holy Bible. Around it, a chorus of newer translations competes for trust. Yet the King James Version endures, charged with preserving truth through time. Our journey retraces the life of the man who authorized that monument, a sovereign whose name, reputation, and very image have been bent by rumor. In the next hour we will dismantle each falsehood, reveal the motive behind the smear, and restore the record of King James VI of Scotland, James III of England. Across generations, whispers have painted James as tyrant, adulterer, even homosexual. Among many people, particularly those long oppressed, the mention of his name still stirs dismissive laughter or quiet scorn. Yet most who repeat the allegation have never traced its roots. They merely echo words planted to drive a wedge between believers and their book. To bury any literature of power, one must first blacken the hand that delivered it. Thus began a centuries-long campaign to poison the well, ensuring that anyone who questioned Scripture could point to its royal patron and turn away. Consider the machinery of modern media, quick to airbrush improprieties when the subject suits the establishment, but curiously silent when lies stalk a figure tied to biblical authority. When a contemporary prince is caught in scandal, front pages soon pivot to tales of his charity, but no such effort has ever rescued King James. Why? Because the very powers that craft reputations had reason to leave his character in ruin. A rehabilitated James would invite millions back to the pages he secured. The clergy of empire, the crown, and the Roman hierarchy each found advantage in the shadows. Within recent memory, the British monarchy marshaled its press forces to cleanse headlines of a prince's Las Vegas indiscretions, recasting him as a devoted family man distributing food to the poor. The lesson is clear. Institutions defend the names that serve them. Their refusal to defend James reveals they are architects of the calumny, not its victims. Why would avowed Christian monarchs allow slander of the king who championed their foundational text? Why would Rome, guardian of European Christendom, permit a lie that distances the faithful from Scripture? Only when we trace authorship of the rumor do we grasp its utility. By dishonoring James, they dishonor the Bible, persuading slaves, rebels, and skeptics alike that the book is corrupted, European, even perverse. This narrative kept multitudes from searching its pages for liberation. Today we wield the proof. Scholarship, portraiture, and primary records will strip pretense away. Let us first unfold a volume from Cambridge University Press, King James VI and I in the Reunion of Christendom. Prestigious academia documents a very different man from the caricature. And here, preserved on cloth beyond the reach of Renaissance whitewash, is his likeness, features unmistakably African. If King James was a black monarch in Europe, what else has been concealed? If the translator of the Bible shared the color of so many enslaved, how would that reshape their regard for the text? The revelation shatters two entrenched myths, that Scripture is a white man's construct and that black lineage held no throne in Europe. If a black king defended a book describing a black Christ, then neither faith nor sovereignty belong to one complexion. Recognizing this is not an exercise in pride, it is a demolition of chains forged from false history. We present facts free of conjecture. Not one historian of standing has refuted the evidence of James's heritage. Silence from the Academy speaks volumes. When challenged, scholars change the subject, unwilling to ignite inquiry that burns their carefully tended illusions. Our aim is not hero worship, but restoration. James foresaw an age when darkness would veil truth, so he moved to preserve sacred writings in the vernacular of his realm. He did not translate a single verse himself. He authorized experts, shielding their work with royal power. What follows is the chronicle of the man and the monumental task he defended. James Charles Stuart opened his eyes on June within the stone ramparts of Edinburgh Castle. He was the son of Mary, Queen of Scots, and Lord Darnley, both of noble blood, both descendants of a lineage largely ignored in modern imagery, black Europeans whose presence stretched back before the Atlantic slave trade. His father was murdered before the boy's second year. His mother was seized and 2 decades later executed. At 13 months, James became King of Scotland. At 12, he was formally anointed, echoing the Hebrew rite that declared a child's passage into manhood. James was not only of African appearance. Messianic sources trace his heritage to the tribe of Judah. Thus he stood as both king and Jew, a living contradiction to narratives that confine Jewish identity or paint monarchy solely in pale tones. Tutors steeped the young sovereign in Greek, Latin, French, Italian, and Spanish. He mastered arithmetic, cosmography, history, and theology, earning repute as one of the most learned rulers of his day. Such erudition, had it been trumpeted to enslaved Africans across the Atlantic, might have inspired hope and rebellion. Better, then, for colonial powers to erase it. During the same centuries that Africans toiled in bondage, James's example testified that black intellect and rule were once celebrated in Europe. Recognizing this threatens the narrative that subjugation was inevitable or deserved. After 36 years guiding Scotland, James ascended the English throne in 1603, uniting England, Scotland, and Ireland under a single scepter, the first to govern all three. He thus became James VI and the VI of Scotland and James V of England, architect of the entity we now call Great Britain. Such achievement is seldom highlighted in modern classrooms. Rome's storytellers prefer a very different portrait. If Rome truly sought to draw black souls to the Bible, it would herald James as exemplar.